Hi, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here at the Ruttenberg Library. Come to you today with a book tag. I'm going to do the Houseplant book tag. This original tag was done by the Queen of Teen Fiction. I watched it on Megan's Reading Revelations, watched it on Paul's Reads and Reviews, and I actually saw it on several channels. I thought I would do this. Please keep in mind as we go through here, I am a nonfiction guy, so I really had to kind of dig a little bit to find some answers, or what I thought would be good answers for this through some of my fiction stuff, which is limited as compared to my nonfiction. But anyway, question or prompt number one: Monstera, a book that you saw so much you ended up reading it. And for me, this was in Mr. Richley's history class in high school. When he was gone, he would leave this movie for the subs, Clan of the Cave Bear. And I don't know how many times, he was obsessed with that movie. He was obsessed with the book. He was always trying to push the book on us. And I saw Clan of the Cave Bear so much in his class that I ended up going and reading the book. And it was by Gene, I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name, Auel. But I saw it so much, I read it, I loved it, and I ended up buying a couple of the others in the series. Plains of Passage is up there on the shelf, and the Valley of Horses. And so that's the one. I saw it so much that I ended up reading it. For me, number two, Cactus, a character you love despite their flaws. Now for me, I went into my nonfiction books and was sitting there looking around trying to find something a little different. And for me, Babe Ruth, he had a lot of flaws. He was a drunkard. He was a womanizer. He just did a lot of stuff that was off the wall, that hardly ever made the newspapers, because the newspaper reporters of the time period would not publish that stuff. They kind of keep it hidden. He became the idol of the day. You love him despite his flaws. He was a big teddy bear. He befriended all kids at the ballpark. He did so many positive things for baseball, and took baseball from being just a fun game to America's favorite pastime. I give Babe Ruth the credit for that. He was the face of the game for a long, long time. And anyway, that's my answer for that. You love them despite their flaws. Number three, Aloe Vera, your favorite comfort read. And for me, my comfort reads, if I'm needing something that I can just breeze through and be comfortable with, it is all my John Grisham books up here. Excuse me. And I've talked about those a number of times, so I was trying to find something different. So I went to the other side of the shelf over here, and I found, let's see, you can't see, it's this little stack right there. But anyway, I found Michael Crichton's Timeline. I loved that book for some reason. I love the movie as well. I just thought it played on my imagination, and took you to the medieval time period. This guy who figures out how to go back in time to the Middle Ages, and they're worried about him getting stuck there, and they end up saving him, and it's just, I don't know, I just thought it was a really, really fun read. So that was my answer for comfort read. It reads fast, and it's just fun. So number four, Succulent, a book trope you actually love. Okay, so here's my problem. I got to be honest on this, BookTube. I did not, but before this tag started coming out, I didn't even know what the word trope was. I'd never heard of it. And I'm not an English guy. I'm a social studies guy. And so I had to look this up last night, and it was, I hope I don't get this wrong so I don't sound too stupid. But it's, books that play on themes. Is that right? And I was thinking of, I actually love the rags to riches stories, and I don't know if that's a trope, so don't Don't kick me out of BookTube if I'm wrong, people. But anyway, I was looking on my shelves for rags to riches. Of course, my John Grisham books are full of those stories, but I wanted to do something a little different. So I found on my shelf Captains and the Kings by Taylor Caldwell. And I read this. It's been a long while since I read it, but it's about an Irish immigrant who comes over, and of course he's poor, ends up making it rich, and let's see here. Years later, in his palatial estate, he looked back on his long, rich life. He's now a multi-millionaire, one of the world's most powerful, feared men, a man who was determined to make his handsome eldest son the first Catholic president of the United States. And so this rags to riches story, I enjoyed that. I don't even know where I got that. I found that somewhere, and I think it was in a box of books at a auction, and I just wanted to read it before I got rid of it, and I ended up liking it, so I kept it. But anyway, I like rags to riches stories. Maybe it hits home. I don't know. Of course, I'm not rich, but I did start down on the lower end of things. But anyway, and then the other one that I maybe would throw out for this is I also saw that when books use metaphors, that could be considered tropes, and I kind of like those too. And so Facing the Lion by Joseph Lucaton. He was a Kenyan man who grew up in the Maasai tribe, and facing the lion. They literally faced lions, but at the same time, his whole story, it's a memoir or autobiography. The whole story is about him facing his lions, facing the hardships of life, and are you going to be brave and face that head on? Or there's a really cool metaphor that's used there, and I use it in my class, my 7th grade class, when we're teaching the cultures of Africa, and so that was a really good one. Number 5, Snake Plant, a book character that betrayed you. So now I have to tell you that in my school years, you always heard the name Aaron Burr, and you knew that he killed Alexander Hamilton in the duel, but you never really learned anything else about him. And the more that I got to reading in my profession and about the Founding Fathers and stuff, man, oh man, did this guy betray me. Because I had him as a Founding Father, because some people still consider him one of the Founding Fathers. But holy cow, did he betray everybody. So I pulled out the book Fallen Founder, the life of Aaron Burr. And Aaron Burr, I mean, he flip-flops political parties all the time just to do whatever is going to suit him best. He stabs people in the back to gain in the political world, and I don't know, man, you talk about a guy that can betray you. I would never have ever trusted Aaron Burr, and a lot of the other Founding Fathers found him to be a bit of a snake. Some Founding Fathers, you knew they were not of the same opinion as you, but you knew where they stood. You never knew where Aaron Burr stood, and he was a bit of a snake. So I chose him as the guy who betrayed me. As I got to learning more about him anyway. Didn't have a clue to begin with. So number 6, The Spider Plant, a book you wish had a sequel or a series that you want more of. Okay, so I went to my John Jakes collection, and I found the book Homeland and its sequel, American Dreams. Awesome, awesome books. I would highly recommend them. I thoroughly enjoyed reading them. It's about a boy from Germany, Polly Kroner, who moves to America, and he changes his name to Paul Crown. His uncle's a beer brewer in Chicago, and he has to make his way to Chicago, and then he's trying to figure out what does he want to do in life, and you can see the camera over his shoulder, so you have a pretty good clue to what profession he's headed towards. And then in the next book, they get into the war, and he takes his camera to the war, and the automobile comes in, and I don't know, a lot of cool stuff going on in the stories, and it was really great. And I really wish there was a 3rd book to this. And at one time on John Jakes's website, he had talked about making a third, turning this into a trilogy and making the third book and bringing it into closer to modern day. And he never ended up doing it. And I have went back to try to find that part on the website that I saw and never did see it again. And so I don't know if those plans just went out the door or what, but I would really like to see a third one to that series. All right, next one, number 7, The Peace Lily, a book with a beautiful cover. Holy moly, this was fun because, I like almost all of the covers that I come across for the most part because they're all creative in their own ways and they all suit the stories in their own ways. But the ones that always stand out to me, the ones that when I'm at the bookstore at Walmart or Target or whatever and I see these on the shelf, they scream out at me, buy me, buy me. And it's Dan Brown's books, just all of them. That is just beautiful. The blue colors and they always have this really cool cover on them with the coloring, and whatever pictures are on there, of course, lead you into the story. I've got a couple more here. I like Dan Brown. I think his stuff's good. Good writer. So I just think these covers are beautiful. Of course, we had the Da Vinci Code, and I would show you Angels and Demons, but Steve Donahue, I should have used your advice earlier in life before I even started teaching. I had somebody I worked with at the grocery store who wanted to borrow Angels and Demons, and you know how you say you never let people borrow unless you're just expecting to give it to them. Yeah, I should have had that in mind because the guy that I'm thinking of, I let him borrow Angels and Demons and he never gave it back. And so anyway, I guess that's on me. I wish I would have saw your advice to begin with. Number 8, The English Ivy, a favorite fictional friendship group. And I was thinking, I don't have these on my shelf because I always got these from the library, but the Hardy Boy mysteries, the Hardy Boys, the brothers. I always loved the friendship between them two and how they would, carry the story all the way through. And there's a whole series of those that you guys are probably all familiar with. That was a fun fictional friendship group. Let's see, the Areca Palm. This is number 9, the Areca Palm, a book that you think everyone should have on their shelves. And for me, and this is just a personal thing, it's the Bible. I think the Bible should be on everybody's shelves. I know not everybody agrees with me, but that's just what I think. My book tag. I get to tell you what I think. I think it's got every piece of advice that you would need in life and gives you the keys to success in more ways than one. So I think the Bible should be on everybody's shelves. And then question number 10, the Chinese Evergreen, favorite fictional world. I had trouble with this, guys, because even the books of fiction that I read they don't take you to other worlds for the most part. It's all realistic fiction or historical fiction, stuff that's not any different than what we see if we looked out the door of your house. And I just struggled with this. So the one that I chose for it was Jurassic Park. Now, I did really, really like this book. Matter of fact, I saw a book review over on Murphy Napier's channel, and she said she had watched the movie and never read the book, and so she was finally going to read the book. And she fell over herself in gushing about the book. And I was like, yep, that's right. Because this book is absolutely awesome. And it takes you to an island where they create Jurassic Park and they create a world for the dinosaurs and they bring them back to life. And you guys are all familiar. This is not a new story or something nobody's read. Everybody's either read or saw the movie. Awesome writer, Michael Crichton. He takes you to another world and a dinosaur world in this one, and you kind of lose yourself in the book. He does a great job of describing stuff. So anyway, that was my houseplant book tag. I hope you liked that. I hope you enjoyed that. Feel free to tag anybody that you know that has not done it. I'm tagging anybody that's watching this. If you haven't done it, do it. It's fun. It was a lot of fun looking through the bookshelves trying to find stuff to match up with these prompts. So anyway, BookTube, you guys have a good day and happy reading.